Blessings, aligning souls. Shavana Harris here, enlightened man of God, spiritual leader, here with another topic from the soul's perspective. So the last time we ended on love and fear, and I did give some sort of commitment. I wasn't certain, but it seems consistent that today we will be discussing life, physical life, or physical reality. So let's jump in. I hope you're having a synchronistic one, and let's get started. So life. What is life? What is life for you? What does life mean for you? I'll leave you with this one before we even start. Maybe you can leave a comment on it. What is the purpose of life in general? This physical earth reality that you are experiencing. What comes to you? Alright. So, life, from this soul's perspective, is a simulation of limitation and separation. So a simulation basically is, let me just give you an example, like a game. Like if anyone can resonate with it's a AAA title called Grand Theft Auto 5. You consider it like a simulation, right? A game, or more befitting of what we are experiencing, from my perspective, as a dream. So we're in a game or having a dream that we are not a soul, not divine, so we feel limited and we don't feel as connected to source. As we discuss, source is the light, the center of creation, where everything emanates from, where all souls connect, all angels, everything you can think of in divine. Those are the higher realms. Source, at source, the closest you can get to source is the highest realm possible, right? So most times, because I have to give credence to the Christian theology in a lot of ways, because that was the foundation I agreed to coming into this life, that I would learn from to expound on who I really was. So the Christianity taught me, based on culture and experience, some baselines, right? But a lot of it comes from a fear-based purview or perception, right? Most of these understandings and interpretations are filtered through fear, and not actually your expansive self, which is your soul self, which is love, because you have to come back into alignment with your soul self to be able to perceive from that dimension or that essence in this physical life. So you're constantly feeling limited and separate from source. It's not actually so, you're just having an experience that you are, because it presents a challenge, a contrast, or a difference for an experience, right? So to expound further, so from the Christian my Christian understanding, when Christians say God, essentially they're really trying to connect or characterize source in a lot of ways. They're characterizing source. But as I exclaimed in the last video, that God is all that is. There's nothing outside of God. So whenever you're leaving anything out, you're basically limiting God. And we know God has no limit. So yes. So you're having an experience now of contrast, that you are unworthy, because again, we descended down more into the shadow aspect of creation as soul, to have a dense, slow experience, a dream that we are not connected to source, and we are not multidimensional. So you go about your life and you experience what this world provides, this earth provides, which you feel heat, you feel cold, you have emotional distress, You go through all different typical kinds of stress in this life, right? You learn to drive. There are your exciting moments when you connect more to your light or you feel more expansive, and moments where you feel more depleted and compressed or depressed, right? So the play goes on. So why we do this to ourselves? Why do we do this? Well, from this soul's perspective, again, it's for the contrast, because when you're actually in the heavenly dimension, the heavenly plane, as your natural self, your natural spirit soul self, closer to source in the light, there's no challenge. There's actually nothing is hot. Everything is graceful and unquantifiable. There's no words, because words is limited, and everything in the heavenly dimension would be telepathic. So everyone just knows everything source knows. We feel the connection fully, like love like you cannot imagine in this dream that you're currently in, right? The only time you will truly fully remember is when you're no longer in this physical form, when you've expanded back into your natural state, which is you as a spirit, as a soul, as divine. So yes, everything is synergetic, everything is unified in the light. As a soul, everything source wants is, our source wills is just, again, everything is graceful. Love unquantified or unquantifiable from this perspective, or any perspective, I would say. So that's essentially why we actually descend down, because when we are closer to source, are closely connected without any contrast, everything is unified, there is no challenge, so we don't really expand or grow. So essentially we descend down in a lot of ways to have this physical life, so we can actually help source to expand creation, because creation is ever expanding, the light is ever expanding. Through your experience here, the light expands. When you come down here and face these challenges, these traumas, the murder, the rape, name it, how heinous it might be, when you come down here and face all these fears and heal from it and overcome and evolve, you become more creative in your consciousness. You think of more things. Like that contrast gives you expansion to expand the light. But you have to also understand, synergetically, as the light expands, so does the shadow. Because, tell me if I'm wrong, the bigger the person is, or the bigger the object is in this physical reality, isn't it that the shadow is bigger? So when the light is shining on whatever the object is, the bigger the object, the bigger the shadow. So as creation expands emanating from source through all of us and angels, so on and so forth, right? The shadow aspect also expands. So that is essentially, for the most part, why we individually, for the most part, take on this experience of physical reality. I know this sounds outlandish for many joining, and it doesn't resonate, but I would love for you to check yourself for fear. I say some of these things, if you feel it deep and you start to recoil, it's still resonating. It's just resonating through fear, because of maybe what beliefs you have adopted that are sown so deep within your subconscious. All right, but it is my everlasting pleasure. This is my purpose here, to be a spiritual leader, to share with you, to embody the truth of the Almighty, of Source, of God. So, thank you guys for being here again. Blessings and guidance to you, and keep aligning souls.